Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus. I'm doing the live Q&A, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Always just like to do a little quick test when we do that one. So we do this one every single Sunday evening for me here in the UK, same time trying to do it. A big hello to, we've got Ben, we've also got John and Connor in the live chat, and also we have also got Mick in there as well. Now this week, we've got lots of questions. So how this usually works is Patreon and YouTube channel members can submit their questions in advance, either through the community tab or on Patreon themselves. And we've got lots of questions this week, lots of them about Peacock and also Paramount Plus other bits and pieces. And also we've got the live chat going on right now. We've got a number of members in here now, which is great. Also, a quick note as well. You can become a Patreon or YouTube channel member to help support the site and the podcast and the YouTube channel. You can use Superchat as well to ask questions if you don't want to become a member. And also, like I said, we'll be answering questions live. Now, this week, I am doing something a little bit different. I'm actually using some different software for doing my live stream. So I might be kind of jumping around a little bit and trying to find the buttons and stuff as I'm going along, trying to sort of upgrade our look and stuff. So hopefully it all looks good. Stephen says it sounds great, so that's good. So usually what I do is I go through some of the pre-done ones in advance. And then I'll jump into the live chat. So we got some ones here, for example, hello to Sarah. We've also got Lego Ninjago Productions and a couple of other people again in the live chat. So let's jump first off into some of the first questions. So here we go. So Caleb asks, when will Disney announce the expiry date of Pier 1 window for 20th Century Studios on HBO? Personally, I'd like to see them announce the films go to PG, head to Disney Plus, while the R-rated films go to Disney to pay Tier 1, which does make a lot of sense. Now, for me, I'd definitely like to see them kind of get this out there and announce all this stuff. But in some ways, it makes a lot more sense for Disney. They don't need to announce this stuff in advance. It's, I expect most people are expecting it. And I don't know if they want to really necessarily sort of put their things into things. Say, well, this is where they're all going to go, where they're all going to do. Maybe they want some flexibility. Like you say, Free Guy would be a perfect movie where I'd say, well, that would make a lot more sense on Disney Plus. But they're really leveling up Hulu. Maybe they will announce something soon, but until that deal's kind of ended, and the thing is, we don't yet know. Does it end the beginning of 2022, or does it end the end of 22, or somewhere in between? So we're going to have to wait and see with all that. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I would like them, like you say, mix them up a little bit. It's very strange over the last few months since Stars launched of how much content we've had from 20th Century, and they've just been announcing show after show, and there's we're starting to get movies now that are going to be coming to Hulu and Disney Plus Star. Hopefully they'll sort it out once Comcast has been purchased. But yeah, I would be nice for them to maybe put out a little press release and state what they're doing. Let's now have a look here at the next question here. So Gavin Scott asks, what's your take on the announcement for Paramount Plus launch in the UK? It's a little bit confusing as to whether now customers will get the content or not. The announcement states that it will be in the app on Sky Q and free for Sky Cinema customers. Now, you've actually got a few questions about Paramount Plus and Peacock, especially here in the UK, because it's been a very, very busy week for announcements. So Peacock, they've announced for the UK, will be coming later this year, and it will be included in Sky Cinema, which is like the premium package. I think it's about £20 a month. I don't subscribe to Sky Cinema, never saw the point of it. Movies taking too long to get there for me. If I wanted to see it, by the time it's been out at cinema, then it's been on rental. By the time I got to Sky Cinema, I'd already kind of missed it, or I just didn't. So for me, I'm probably not going to bother getting Sky Cinema for Paramount Plus. I just don't see the reason for that. It'd be cheaper for me to probably get Paramount Plus on its own. I don't know. Paramount Plus at the minute for me just isn't doing anything for me. There's nothing really there that's kind of standing out to me that I'd want to pay for. And that's kind of the issue for me. As far as it would make more sense if it was included in the Sky Q, but I think it's more going to be like it's going to be in the app in there, like Disney Plus, like YouTube, like Spotify. And I'm going to be honest, I use the Sky Q box all the time. It is actually really useful having it all in one place. I use Disney Plus through there probably most of the time because it's just become a lot easier. And so Ben said, Peacock is free for Sky's entertainment customers, Paramount Plus for Sky Cinema. Yeah, so there isn't going to be that difference of Peacock is NBC's. That the way I look at Peacock, which is going to be free for Now customers and also Sky customers, is this one is going to be a little bit different in that Comcast, we've kind of already got all the box sets and stuff when you go into Sky Q in it anyway, and into Now TV, you've got them there anyway. So I think it's more just like, I mean, why they don't just rebrand Now TV, but they're kind of using it as a free little boast. But yeah, I do feel like that does kind of make a lot of sense for them to kind of do it the way they do it. So we've got a few questions here that come in there. For example, Ben said Peacock is free, and then Stephen has also said Paramount Plus can be paid separately if you don't have Sky Cinema. For me, I just don't really see how Sky Cinema is going to be able to offer much in the future, because with having HBO content in there as well, I know they've got like Suicide Squad. They've had some of the newer movies are going to be going in there. Just don't really see too much to it. So Lewison said, I wonder if I'll be able to use my USA account on the UK Paramount Plus when it releases. I don't know. You might be able to. I mean, I know like with Netflix and Disney Plus, you can do that. You know, if you've got different accounts, you can access it. Whether or not a link, I mean, you should be able to. I mean, you would be able to do it with anything else. So I definitely feel like that would be something that we could move on with. But that's cool. Let's now jump into some other questions that have been in advance. I like to do these kind of a few of these at a time. So Connor asks, as American Horror Story double feature is premiering in October, 6 weeks after the US, do you think Disney Plus might launch seasons 1 to 9 of American Horror Story ahead of the double feature debut? This is similar to The Walking Dead and tied to potential withdrawal of American Horror Story from Netflix. I would imagine so. I would imagine it's going to be, it would make a lot of sense for them to do that like they've done with The Walking Dead, which I am loving. Very late to Walking Dead. I only got into it this year when they announced it was coming to Disney Plus in August here in the UK, and I think it's in other countries like the Netherlands and stuff as well. I've literally just been binge watching it. I'm trying to get through as many as I can before I have to start watching season 11. I'm literally coming to the end of season 9, so I'm doing really well. But season 10, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through 20 episodes before I have to start watching season 11. But I'm really looking forward to that one coming on there. So I think that one's going to be good. A couple of other live things regarding, as far as the American Horror Story, I do think I would imagine that they're going to just drop them all in there, and that's going to be a big push for September. I think we're going to be really starting to load up for the September period. Let's have a look here at some other questions. So Ben said HBO is likely to launch when HBO. The thing is with this HBO deal here with Sky, it's about 4 or 5 years away. It's still quite a way away before they can do that one there, which is a big impact. But they are going to be launching it in other areas, and this is kind of this constant thing that's coming through. Mick said, Paramount Plus with Sky Cinema, what TV shows? A TV show should be. And I see what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to get sort of. And Sky Cinema is coming to like reinvent itself, because obviously it doesn't have access to all the movies that it used to. It just doesn't have them, because everyone's keeping everything. So I think Comcast are trying to scratch around, trying to work out how to make it more valuable. But yeah, it does seem a little bit strange of how they did that one. Okay, so we've got some more questions here. So another one here from Connor. Similar to Hulu, do you think American Horror Stories will premiere the first 2 episodes when it launches on the UK? I think it's because part 1 and part 2 are part of the same story. I'm guessing no. I'm going to guess they're going to spread them out weekly like they have with all the other Star originals. That's my pure guess. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a thing moving forward. Let's have a look here. We've also got some other questions here about Peacock. Josh, you said, will Peacock in the UK, which comes with Sky, will it have ads? As in the UK, we don't really have ads in our services, as in you can upgrade to get rid of it. Will Paramount Plus come without ad? I don't know if Paramount, I would imagine not. I mean, the price that you're paying for it, I don't think it would do. But then Paramount Plus has 2 tiers for ads. All I think of with ads whenever I think of it was how the Channel 4 one, where it inserts it into it. Personally, if I'm paying for it, I don't like to have ads. That's kind of the thing for me. If I'm going to pay for it, don't have ads. If I'm not paying for it, like Channel 4, Channel 5, then ads I can accept. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one with that one there. So it's very, very, very strange. of how that one works. Okay, so then we've got Aero G said the schedule for Destination D23 in November says they're going to give a special look at what's new and next from Disney Plus. What do you think they will reveal? And do you think after the success of the Investors Day, they will repeat this year making a big scene, or will it just keep to Destination 23 this year and D23 Expo next year? Hoping after the success of the Investors Day, they will think of doing these virtual access to people that can't get to the event. Right, so I think the thing is with this Destination D23, this Destination D event, Disney have typically always held an event down in Walt Disney World, because that's where this one's taking place, and it's primarily about Florida. That's primarily one. Whereas it's not. It's like a mini D23 Expo, because the D23 Expo happens every 2 years, and that's a massive event, and they announce lots of stuff. Where the Destination D one is a lot smaller, it's generally more confined to the Walt Disney stuff. This presentation, I go in again. Let's remind ourselves of the streamer. I'm going to be saying this from now on, I think. They teased us with a waterfall for just water for 3 hours for a trailer, for an advert. So expect nothing and be surprised. Don't expect a lot from this Destination D23, this Destination D event. It could be a very quick presentation. They might announce 1 or 2 shows there to kind of do something, but I am not expecting a lot. I mean, it was very much even a small line. I mean, it literally could be along the lines of, here's some stuff that we've already previously announced that's coming to Disney Plus in the next week. And it's just for the people that are at the event. I'm not expecting a lot. And I do feel now the streamer has set my level now for what to expect from an event. And as Sarah is very, very saying, it's just crying because with laughter, because that event, that thing with streamer, I mean, you've just got to expect nothing from now on. Khalid NCP said, I hope we can overcome my anxiety and come to the D23 one day. I know handshaking probably won't happen when it comes to meet and greets due to pandemic, but I can do with the greeting, namaste greeting. Yeah. I'm really hoping, my plan is next year is to go to the D23 Expo. I've been wanting to go for about 4 or 5, probably about 8, 9, 10 years now, and never been able to, but next year I know I can. And yeah, it's just whether or not the US opens up and all this quarantine stuff disappears, because at the minute you still have to quarantine. I'm hoping by then. So when if they put the D23 tickets up, I am going to be buying myself some, but I am planning on going. As far as the Namaste, yeah, I think elbow, and all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping that was there. I never really liked doing the whole handshake anything. Never knew how strong. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that as myself. Okay, so let's carry on with a little bit more of these Patreon ones. Okay. Here we go. Connor asks, according to the Radio Times, season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows will air on BBC Two before Christmas. I've also noticed the show will be affected by the FX BBC deal, which expires before its premiere. Do you think that the 3rd season will air as a Star original in the UK? I've just had a look before we went live about that show. All the shows that are on there, like that one and Snowfall, they state that they're going to be on BBC for at least another year. So my general rule for this stuff with those kind of shows are, if they're already existing on another channel, we probably won't get them as Star originals, or they might be. I've noticed with The Walking Dead, they've started calling something a Star exclusive. That's a new term that they've thrown up this week. So I go with the idea of anything that's on another network already won't be coming to Disney Plus anywhere. A quick one here. So Ben said they should do a D23 in the UK. It would be nice if they could just do a D23 and alternate that between California and the East Coast. That would be a start. I'm really hoping it's like with Star Wars Celebration is taking place next year as well. It's supposed to have taken place last year. And a few years ago, they did one here in London. They did, and I went to it. I flew up to London for the day, I loved it. And my plan is in the future is they normally alternate between that and the D23 Expo. So I'm hoping what they would do is when they get back to alternating, I will be trying to, but the next year they're both happening within 3 months of each other. So just realistically can't do it. So NY saying, because of course some actors might do that must they meet and greeting back. So it's just a safe distance to avoid accidentally headbutting them. Yes, definitely don't want to be headbutting them. I would definitely not think that was a good idea. Okay, let's have a look here at some other questions from the Patreon. So we got quite a few. Erog said it seems that Paramount Plus and Paramount Peacock and HBO Max will arrive in the UK and Europe next year. Could you see Disney making some big local acquisitions or announcements soon to keep the churn rate low when they launch, especially as currently there's not much local content in Europe, and the Star Originals will slowly drip feed compared to Asian countries where deals were made ahead of launching? I think the thing is right now with the the Star stuff has been a bit weak over the last couple of months. It's definitely eased off. It does look like they're kind of ramping up for the fall and the winter. We've got lots of shows. We've got The Dropout, which was recently revealed. We're going to have Walking Dead, American Horror Stories, and there's going to be some. I think probably there was a question here from Stephen as well. Why The Last Man? You're going to throw that one in. You've got all these other FX shows that are new coming in. I think we're really going to start seeing a lot more things coming in. And yeah, I think we are going to see a little bit more of this. I'm hoping that Y-Man, I don't know about the date. They've not announced any UK date. The trailer showed me that just looked great. So I just feel a bit weird talking about a DC show. It was a DC comic book that got turned into it. But so I'm looking forward to that one there. So hopefully at some point we will then get all this stuff. I just feel we're going to start ramping up as far as buying new. I think they're going to be buying up studios, buying up rights to shows, licensing. I don't know if they might not go down the full line of licensing content, but they're going to have to put it on there. And I think they're going to need to rev up, especially with Paramount and Peacock and there's just competition, but there's this competition globally now. So they're just going to want to keep ramping up and putting more and more on there just to keep giving us more and more content. Okay, so that on there, that was all of the Patreon ones. We're going to jump in a minute into the YouTube ones in advance, but let's jump back in and answer some of your questions from the live chat. So let's start off with Connor. Oh. Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Don't know about that one. We were having some technical difficulties. I was expecting that with this being the first one using this software. So Connor asks, physical media, any word on when these services will be expanding into Canada? So I'm guessing you're talking about Paramount, Peacock, and HBO Max. I think Paramount Plus definitely is. And HBO Max probably will do. But again, there's just a lot of competition going on that one. Let's have a look here, see what else we've got in our live chat. So what we've got going on. Let's have a look here. Oh, here we go. So Frank asked, how become the movie 8 Fights Glass is rated 12 plus on Spanish Disney Plus, even though it's rated 16 in cinemas? It could be a mistake. Sometimes with these ones, they do actually make mistakes. I've seen a few shows and movies incorrectly put on there, so they might be able to fix that. Also, Disney tend to rate their own things, so that might just be they've decided that it's not. I mean, I've got no idea what that movie is. I've never heard of that one. Okay. So Frank also asked, will any of the Star UK originals come to the Hulu in the US? They have said this in the past that Star originals will go to Hulu. It makes sense, especially with the British ones. It makes total sense. The language difficult. There's that. So I would expect all the Star UK ones to go there. Stephen Bruce said, Amazon add-on channel is gone. Be trouble. New streaming services. I think all of these Amazon add-on channels, I don't understand how they can survive. I know they're very much a niche market, but I don't see how they could keep going. Frank also asks, how become the ESPN Originals pay-to-place is not a Star, and yet it's on Hulu with ESPN Plus add-on. The ESPN Plus stuff is a little bit weird, and maybe that whatever's going on with because they have got the ESPN Plus channel. It just feels like we're getting the all the documentary side of the ESPN Plus, not everything. Kayla said, "Love the new graphics for the What's on Disney Plus. Are you excited for Marvel's What If?" Yes, thank you very much. I've been wanting to try this software out for a while, and I thought, right, now we're doing it. I did the podcast this week with it. Seems to be working. We're going to do some tweaks. I mean, I might upgrade and move up to a slightly higher version for better quality. As far as excited about what Marvel's What's If, I am very excited. I have seen the very first 3 episodes, so that's obviously I'm even more excited now. I've seen them. I will have a review up on them on Tuesday, but I'm very excited about new episodes, definitely. Frank asks, I think the reason why Zeke and Luther will never come is due to one of the actors doing a crime in real life. That's the trouble. You know, if something happens in the real world, it does have impacts on when things come in. So John said, I thought Disney owned the rights to Bob's Burgers. They do. They do own it. But in the US, I think it airs on Fox. And here in the UK, I think it airs on. So there's some contracts in place of where they are. But 20th Century are making it. Yeah, and as Bob, it's just it's a co-production between 20. I think Disney have the international rights because I know it's on Disney Plus here. Joe asked, when does Dope Sick and Reservation Dogs come to Disney Plus UK? They've not announced anything. I'm hoping Reservation Dogs come soon. They put an announcement on that. Why they're not doing it? It seems to be a difference, I think, with FX and Hulu. I'm expecting Dope Sick to arrive the same time as the US, but again, they only announced all this stuff late Friday night here UK time, and so obviously the UK press team, we might hopefully find out some information going forward this week. It's probably a little bit too early this week for the UK and the US lineup for September, but yeah, it's probably a while off. As NYCK said earlier on, he said about the fact that TV episodes coming later. Ricardo says, until this moment, Star Plus is still not happening in Mexico and the rest of Latin America, but not Brazil. Do you think they can try and integrate Star on Disney Plus just for Brazil to try something? My problem is with this whole kind of Star Plus thing in Latin America. If they go with Disney, if they add Star in one country, it will just set the whole thing off for a failure. They're obviously trying to either sort out the money or do some kind of announcement. If we're going to get the announcement, it's going to be Thursday. On Thursday, we've got the quarterly results. So that's going to be the big one. Joe said he's so glad that they've announced American Horror Story Season 10 and American Horror Stories this week. After I've seen it on the Instagram, could not stop smiling. I know there's been so many questions about these over the last few weeks. So many people seem so excited about American Horror Story. I know my wife has been watching the American Horror Stories, and she said it's a great show. So I'm going to be jumping in. So I'm going to jump in on probably American Horror Stories because I don't need to do any of the... I know each season is different. I might watch... But I feel like I can jump in on double feature because I don't need to worry about what's happened in the past. So I'll probably jump in on that one. So Steven says, any news on She-Hulk? Depends on your definition of what news. I mean, we've got a few stories that have gone up in the past few weeks over at What's on Disney Plus with like the casting. I think filming is pretty much done. There's just a lot of rumors and speculations and stuff right now on that series. John asked, do you think Death on the Nile will do Premier Access, or do you think it won't be released due to incidents with Arnie Hammer? Two things. First off, Premier Access on 20th century movies are very tricky because of in the US they've still got to deal with HBO Max, so they wouldn't be going there yet. So they can't really do the Premier Access. That's why Free Guy is in some ways the perfect test to see what the water is for this. If that doesn't do well at this box office, as far as the Arnie Hammer thing, yeah, I think this movie is going to just get pushed back a bit. I think it's going to be pushed back, or they might even just shift the whole thing over to Hulu Star just to kind of get rid of it. Frank said he talked to customer service yesterday and I requested a yearly tier for the bundle, and they said send the message directly, then they will send them. Yeah, why they don't do the Disney Plus tier bundle? I mean, yeah, I don't know why they haven't optioned that one. The yearly tier is going to be difficult since the Hulu live channels can be expensive for Disney to pay, and also the price just keeps going up. And I think that's the other thing on all of them. Okay, so there we go. So that's all the live ones we're up to date on. Let's jump back now into some of the other questions. Okay, so Let's hide down that one. Here we go. So, Joshua said, with Hulu announcing a new of renewals and other programming recently, they teased the possibility of them doing Marvel productions. Which properties would Hulu be able to use, and would they be connected? This was a funny one because I did the story over the weekend, and because at this the Television Critics Association Summer Tour, they announced a load of shows that will be coming to Hulu, and again, a lot of them are going to be end up coming to Disney Plus internationally. And there was this whole thing about this quote about him, possibility of doing some more Marvel stuff because they've got Hit Monkey coming up later this year, which is an animated series. It was part of a group of them with MODOK, Howard the Duck, and Tiger and Dazzler. They've cancelled the Tiger one and they've cancelled the Howard the Duck one, but Hit Monkey went through, and apparently it's supposed to look great. But they can't, because what happened was Marvel Television got absorbed by Marvel Studios, and now they've got this situation where Marvel Studios are making everything. And the comment was also very much along the lines of, well, I've not actually spoken to Kevin Feige yet. It's like, if you've not spoke to Kevin Feige, we're going to be years away. And I think Disney Plus, they're going to rev it up a little bit. It's, Marvel's slap banging Disney. Hulu's not on their radar, I think, as far as streaming for Marvel. Marvel is a pure Disney Plus spread. That's what they want. I think the only thing he's getting literally is seconds. He's just getting, they might get a MODOK too. They might get some animated things, maybe a Deadpool animated too, but I can't see them getting anything MCU. I'd love them to do, the Predator, not Predator. I would like them to do that, but the Punisher or any of that kind of stuff, carry on. But yeah, they've not really gone down any of that one there. Let's see here what else we've got on the questions. Okay. Right. So Josh has said, with the rumors of Werewolf by Night being in development, probably as a result of Moonlight, assuming this comes to fruition, what could they use to create other things? Yeah, definitely for me, I feel like this is something that they could do. They are going to add. They're going to bring him in that series. I find Werewolf by Night to be such a strange name. Hopefully they rename him a bit, because that just sounds such a werewolf. But well, of course he's a werewolf by night. That's when they become werewolves. Just strange. Joshua also, do you think the amount of streamers coming to the UK over the next year or two, do you foresee any of the linear channels being closed, or do you think they will remain open? It's in Sky's interest to keep their television networks open, so the Peacock isn't an issue. Paramount, on the other hand, has got an depends on if they've been told to kind of, if they've part of the deal was that they get to keep some of the channels. Some of these networks are still looking at linear television as a way of getting money. Some of them are very much looking at it, it's just dead. For me, like with CBS Viacom, they still own the Channel 5 stuff. They've still got those CBS channels, Comedy Central. They've still got a lot of channels. So if they're still making money on it, I suspect some of them will close. But in Disney's kind of gone straight down that line and gone, yeah, no, we don't need you guys. Whereas Paramount's already done a deal with Sky. So that kind of throws everything out for me in terms of what might possibly happen. But there's going to be some more television channel closures. Yeah, I can't see what other than Sky. Sky are just going to keep rolling that thing. Josh said, is it my imagination, or does the UK still not have Tailspin? No, they don't. Dana said, do you think from an article in Reuters that Daniel Lobb, that's the internet, the billionaire, has also urged Disney management to take more of try and get that one full screen just to see if I can see it. See where that one went. Here we go. Let's see if you guys can see it, because I was trying to see it. It's a bit small. So do you think the article from, let's try and just make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Just trying to work it out. Again, this is new software today. Do you think suggesting an all-you-can-eat approach to its direct-to-consumer? Basically, what I'm gathering from this one is Dana's asking, and the billionaires saying, Disney would be better off putting everything into one big app. And as someone that's got Disney Plus internationally, I would 100% agree that I think that's the better option. I think keeping sports to the side does help more than, but I just don't see why Disney is a hell-bent on Hulu. I don't know. It's just advertising. So Lego Ninjago Productions said, so on the 2nd of August, Disney Plus updated its preview websites for a number of countries. Do you think that these are in the countries we'll get on Disney Plus when they're announced? So we've got the quarterly results on Thursday. This is when they are going to announce a load of dates and stuff for international launch for the next wave. Disney are going to need to put out that idea to the shareholders that Disney Pluses keep moving on, and the best way they can do that is launching in new countries. That's definitely a thing to move on that one. Okay, let's have a look here now at some of these last few ones here on. So Josh has said, with the announcement of Peacock in the UK, how do you think Disney Plus will react to it, if at all? They'll just keep churning out more stuff. Joshua also said that I'm not going to try and pronounce that one. Has won an Indian first athletic gold medal with the javelin, with them being the son of a farmer. Do you think Disney will likely try and get the rights to put the story on Disney Plus Hotstar or try to do a documentary? Hope so. Why not? I definitely think that's a great idea. Joshua said, do you think Disney Plus might miss a trick by perhaps not utilizing its content on Disney Plus Hotstar and either adding English subtitles to the programming or perhaps even adapting the programming to Western audiences when acceptable? Disney Plus Hotstar is a thing there was a thing earlier this week or last week when they announced a load of stuff for Hotstar because they're making some changes out there in India to make access more available. They said about putting Hotstar content on Hulu and Disney Plus Star, and I've actually got a whole article that I want to write up, and I'm going to be starting to do sort of weekend kind of articles like that. And I think that I do wonder if they're going to end up with Hotstar merging it in with Disney Plus and Hulu internationally, because so they don't have to run that extra streaming. So there must be a lot of cost in running it, and how many people are actually using it. So I definitely feel like that's something that they could possibly look at. Okay, so we've got some more questions here. So Frank asked, after Disney buys Comcast stake in Hulu, would we ever get a Star within Disney Plus? Because Star exists here in the US, and we could get Hulu on Disney Plus as a sick. Right, so first off, Stars and Star are two very different things, and this is the problem they've been having in Latin America with the announcement. The first off really is Stars is its own streaming service, where Star is just a part of Disney Plus. I would imagine what they will end up doing, they'll probably end up using the Hulu brand, or they might just go Star and go all in on it and just kind of get rid of the Hulu thing. I think Hulu might live on for a while, because it might be like, are we back in the room? Are we back in the room? Are we back in the room? And then we're back in the room. Sorry again for the technical issues. I am using new software this week. I'm just trying to work out that one might not be connected to the situation. So where was I? We were all talking about, where was I? Can't even remember where I was talking about now. Yep, I'm back. Sorry, we did seem to be some slight issues. As far as I think Hulu could live on with like live streaming, like the big, that really big expensive model, and then they just integrate Disney Plus into it eventually. Frank also had, will Hulu do Disney Plus, or will Hulu do Premier Access? It might do eventually if they carry on with this new system, but I imagine they're going to keep a lot of this stuff for Disney Plus. And also the problem is as well with Hulu Premier Access is, I think Hulu's kind of got that, they're not, the big 20, and maybe West Side Story could be something they could do, but until they sort out that HBO deal, they can't really do a lot. Right, so that was all the pre-done questions. We had a lot. So now I'm going to jump back into the live chat, and we're going to be on the live chat now for the next 10 minutes. We've done all the ones in advance. Sometimes it's how many we've done in advance. There's a lot there. Right. So here we go. Joe asks, do you think the whole Alien franchise could come in September because it's leaving Now TV in August? Probably. It's not always straight away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to go over. There might be a little bit of time. Ricardo said, is there a way to notice when episodes of WandaVision, Falcon, on Loki, or maybe before or after the pandemic? Okay, so this is one. I I think I've been noticing with like a number of shows that sometimes you can tell when they've been done pre or post pandemic. It's like when you're watching. I was watching a show last night. It's like, well, and I was like, first off, there's a lot of people in that scene. That's the first key thing. If there's a lot, if you're seeing less people, that's usually an indication of it. I mean, if you look at like High School Musical, the series, season 2. So the first few episodes were filmed before the pandemic. They were doing all the group things. They were all sat around in the lot. You know, they're all sat with each other. They're all doing the big group dances. They're all hugging and kissing and all the rest of it. And as the season went on, they were getting further and further and further apart, and less of them. You know, we didn't really have any big dance scenes together the same way. You know, just that there's less. A big thing here: are all the extras apart? Is there any extras? Those are the key things that we're going to see. We're just seeing less people. That's the key thing for me, really, with noticing. I know, and then when you watch the making of, you then see everyone with a mask. But you got to expect now, we're probably at a point now where everything that's new has been filmed post-pandemic. Okay, let's move in here. So, my VCR still works, says Mark. I'm surprised Disney hasn't done anything with the Club Penguin IP. That's a massive game. I mean, that would be a great animated series. Why they haven't, I don't know. Steven says Sky needs to do a streaming bundle with Netflix, Disney Plus, and Paramount Discovery Plus to get all four at a special price. Sky is just, for me, it's just like there's nothing. It's losing its muster because it's got nothing to show. I mean, this whole thing like rebranding all these Sky channels is like you've only had one original. That's the Gangs of London, and that was the only thing you had good for a while. Caleb said Viacom CBS made a deal for Hulu's live TV regarding linear television. Some of these companies need, but some of the companies are still, they've got like 1 foot in, 1 foot out on this whole like streaming thing because they still like the income coming in. It feels like in the US, Disney is still very much like they like the advertising revenue. They're still keeping like Disney Channel, they're still pumping stuff over there. Whereas internationally, they obviously weren't making as much and they didn't want it. And it was just simpler, and that's why they've cut it. Frank says, will Disney Plus do a Celebrate Hispanic Stories tab or collection for next month, since they did the same for AAPI and LGBTQ+? Hope so. I mean, why not? I mean, it'd be great with, you know, you got Coco, you put in High School Musical, you could put in Diary of a Future President, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, get it all in there. And there's also, you know, some of the shorts and stuff. John said, with Disney Plus being £79.99, Disney better up their content. It's not going to be worth it if I'm paying for 4 other streaming services. I don't know. See, if you look at it like that, I mean, you're only paying £6-7. I think the question is what do you feel like it's worth to you? How much are you watching it? Are you enjoying the content on it? That's the key thing. I think Star has increased the value of Disney Plus immensely. But John, let me know what is it that you're only watching? Is it only the Marvel and like the Star Wars show, so therefore you're not feeling you're getting a lot? We also had a live, we had a super chat from Tor. Thank you very much, Tor Gregory, for your super chat. Really appreciate that. That is fantastic. Really helps support everything. What do you think will happen with Now TV that Peacock is coming to the UK? I personally think Now TV is going to get either rebranded. I mean, I know they only just recently rebranded it, but let's be honest, Now TV is just as bad as the name is as Peacock. Now is meaningless. It's meaning, and Peacock is meaningless. Why not just, you know, rebrand it, get it in there? Yeah, if they offered Peacock within Now, what's the kind of the point in? I don't know. Just seems a bit odd of why you would offer the two services, you know. If you've got Peacock within Now, then aren't you just got Peacock? Very strange. But again, thank you very much for that. Stuart said, here, do you think the Searchlight film The Eyes of Tammy Faye will release on Star like Nomadland? I think unless we might do what Summer of Soul did, where it had like a 2-week window. These kind of movies are much lower quality, not lower quality, but lower budgets. So they don't have to make as much money at the box office to be a success. So these kind of movies can go there. They probably get a lot of money in that first week or two, and that's pretty much how it works. Kelly said, I remember someone asked on Twitter if What If will be dubbed on what, and Disney Plus replied that it will be subtitles instead. I do think like with like those kind of shows, it's funny with the animated ones because you'd think with an animated one it'd be easier for them to do dubbing. But again, it's probably just speed and time. What would you rather have? Would you rather have the US shows and stuff as fast as possible at the same time as everybody and just have subtitles, or take longer and not get them straight away? Because that's the key problem. You know, they probably should try and get them all done at the same time, but I don't know if they would do. Lewis said Sky should make a streaming bundle with Disney Plus, Paramount, Peacock. The trouble is, if they make the bundle too expensive, you're not going to go for it, because the whole point of it is to try and save money, and if you're spending out a lot of stuff, that does make a bit of an issue. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Right, here we go. Let's see what questions we've got. So again, just trying to get used to this new system. So Mick said, how do you know how Free Guys did in cinemas? Not out yet. They've been doing previews, I think, this past weekend. So it'll be next week that I think it's out. Yes, the 13th, Friday the 13th, it's out. My VCR still works. Is any news on Prop Culture Season 2? Nothing yet. I haven't heard a dicky bow on that one. Really hope they do, because I think... But then you got to think, that show came out, that was last May? Like the May before? So it's been like 14, 15 months. So I imagine if we were going to get one, they'd have announced it by now. But it's a show that, to me, it just makes a lot of sense. But he might have had problems filming it with the pandemic, and that's why they've not done anything, because he might have had difficulties flying around, like doing it all. That could have been an issue. So Steven said, so NCIS and NCIS New Orleans series and will go to Paramount Plus now at Foxco. They could do. I would imagine they probably will do. I do know that Paramount Plus is going to be a big thing for my parents, because they love all three of those shows. Yes, I'm back. Here we go. So John says, do you think there are too many streaming services? Thinking of all the costs, I do think there's way too many. Definitely think there's way too many streaming services. We're going to see a little bit of consolidation, I think, of some of the smaller ones. But ultimately, you've got the choice. I think if you play it smartly, you can work out, you maybe go, right, Netflix has got this show that I want to watch. When they've finished, I will then go cancel that. If you do play it smart, and the trick is you've got to be able to accept that you're not going to be keeping up with everybody. And that's the thing. You maybe jump in, watch a show or two, and then you jump out. I literally had a notification yesterday saying my Apple TV subscription is coming up, and I didn't realize I had an Apple TV subscription. I thought I got it for free. So I was like, well, I'm not paying for that. I'm just not paying for that one yet. Josh said, do you think they'll announce more films on Premier Access next week? I think Shang-Chi will be going Premier Access. That's my personal prediction, because they've taken the only off of all the promotion, which says it's only coming. I think Free Guy is going to be coming out that weekend, and they'll have predictions. Suicide Squad hasn't done great. The Delta variant is just kicking butt. Disney are going to have to make a decision. I'd much rather they said, look, okay, for the rest of this year, or right through till Easter, whatever it is, all of our Disney movies are going on Premier Access. I think doing Premier Access kind of sets them a bar up that they are worthy of. If they could move Enchanto over to Disney Plus, but it would be a lot of money to lose. But they might do it on that one. So Frank said, will Hulu ever have a Disney Plus? I'd like them to do that. I would imagine they've done it with ESPN Plus. Depends what they want to do, what their long-term plans are. John said, is Peacock only available for Sky customers, or would you be? Yeah, you are going to be able to watch it on any other device. It's just that they're including it in the Sky Cinema. Now TV will probably, I think it will not really merge. I think Peacock is actually based on the Now TV, because they actually sent the guys that ran Now TV over to the US to launch Peacock. So I think it's more of a branding. Steven said Amazon Prime is going to start struggling. Not had the same since Man in the High Castle. I got bored of that show. I've just finished watching Clarkson's Farm. That was such a great show. but there's not really a huge amount on Amazon. The only reason I have it primarily is Prime, because it's just so convenient to have stuff delivered to the house. That's basically it. I think that's what probably a lot of people are like. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what else we've got. So we've got we've got another super chat here from Tor. Thank you very much. Do you think that Teletoriverse will come back to the UK Peacock as MB owners own it, or will that just be a Netflix thing? Right, I'm gonna have to just do a quick look to see what Telian Novola. What is that show? I've never heard of that one before. Okay, so here we go. So it's a Latin American show. Yeah, I've not heard of that one. So if that one there is will it come to UK Peacock as an NBC? If NBC own it, it's more likely to be but it depends if they've sold it on. I honestly don't know. I've never heard of that show before. The Latin stuff is a little bit more tricky. If they own it, they're more likely just to chuck it on one of their channels and stuff. So that would be my guess. My first guess would be that would be how it worked out. Okay, let's see here what we've got. Right. Okay, so John replied to me, mostly watch the Marvel, Star Wars, or watch a few of the originals and some of the other. I think that's the key thing with, like, if you're only watching the Marvel stuff, I mean, check out What If. That's going to be a lot of fun. But if you're only watching Marvel and Star Wars, I do think you are, and you're not interested in all the Disney stuff as much, I do feel like Disney Plus just isn't offering the same amount of quality. It's really hard for me now with Star, of where I feel like I've got so much more value because I'm watching multiple shows. Whereas straight up US Disney Plus right now, you just look at the trending. I mean, you look at the trending chart and it's just full of Disney Channel shows. And I just don't think that's good enough long term. I don't think that's good enough long term for that. Okay. So Frank had, why was Summer of Soul moved to Hulu even though it's a PG-13? It should have been a Disney Plus original. I think Disney, they're very much, I think it's the fact that it's a Searchlight movie and the tone, that was why it was moved over there. Joshua, as I said, they have the Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time coming next year, and that costs, Lord of the Rings looks like that costs a fortune. But I think it's that thing of they've spent so much money on that show, but they're going to need to do something more than just throw. I think it's like 200 million at this show. It's a lot of money. Lego Ninjago Productions. So about Eastern Europe, do you think they will start teasing the content available on Disney Plus on launch after the announcement if they announce it through social media accounts? They probably will. When they announce it, might take a while. They'll then start the whole thing going. I mean, in some ways, when they launch in these other countries, they are launching with this massive array of originals. They're getting so many more that they're getting a lot of stuff. So that's going to be they're going to have so much more to play with because they've got Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, The Mandalorian. They got all those shows now to kind of get you in. Joe said, when will Disney Plus fix Amphibia season 2? Episode 3 is missing. Don't know. I know they're doing a lot of fixes and stuff. If you're aware of it, then they're probably working on it. There might be a technical reason for it, but my VCR still works as a line. Oh, we've got here Lady Jennifer Snow. Let's bring up yours. You've just done a super chat. Thank you very much for the support. Really appreciate that. Really makes a massive difference for this. So with the Delta variant raging, could Disney and Sony come to a deal for Spider-Man to go to Disney Plus? I hope it doesn't get to that. Or can we see it in theaters only? My guess is if Delta is still going right, Sony will push it. Sony will push it back. They'll push Ghostbusters into the slot and push it back out the way. Disney, they could deal with Sony, but then that would require Sony are going to need a lot of money to do it. And I think if they were to do it, it'd be a Disney Plus Premier Access rather than straight onto. I mean, they didn't do it with. It would be Premier Access. I can't see it being a Disney Plus. They would never pay for it. It's a massive movie maker. My gut is if things don't start improving, and I'm expecting things to start going south once it starts getting into the fall. I'm really expecting a big shift in all of that on there. But I just feel like if it's anything, they'll either push it back or do. But that's the thing for him. Kayla said, I do feel like Disney Plus is something for everyone. Nat Geo isn't for me, but my parents love the National Geographic content. Internationally, I do think Disney's got a lot more. I think that's one issue with it. There's not enough content. Ben just put, if Sony pushed Spider-Man, won't muck it up with other MC. It probably will do. Mucks things up. But ultimately, that's not Sony's. I don't know. I mean, the fact that Marvel have paid for some of the movie, that might do it. And they've got that big deal. So there might be something going on. Right, let's see here what we've got. Joe says, do you think Deadpool could come to the UK Disney Plus in September because it's leaving Netflix on September the 3rd? Very likely. I hope so, because I recently watched Deadpool 2, and I think once it leaves Netflix, it's very much probably likely to head to our way. Lewis said, is there any apps available where you are able to link all your streaming services together so you don't need to keep changing apps? Perhaps it's something Sky could do. Yeah, I think Apple TV and stuff. Sky has got a lot better where it's you kind of in it and you click it, but it still fires up the app. It's not perfect, but I think they might not want to do that. They want to keep you locked in their streaming service. Kelly says it's one of the reasons why Viacom and Comcast is doing streaming partnership overseas. It's all down to money. They don't want to spend it. Caleb also, speaking of Premier Access, hope Disney and Joe Santon settle their stuff out of court. I can't see it ever going to court. My VCR still, I buy the yearly plan for HBO Max Peacock bundle. I save money. That's definitely a good way of doing it. Ben said, I think all cinema films come to 21 are Premier Access. They've been doing it slowly, softly, and I think that's definitely a better way for Disney to do it, because I think there was this assumption, that we were all just going to get to this summer and it was gone, and it hasn't. And I mean, here in the UK now, all the restrictions have gone, but I'm expecting like masks and stuff to come back in the winter. Tor had another super chat. I think I've done that one. See, this is the thing with this new. What do you think will happen? Oh, here we go. So Tor said, what do you think will happen with the now as Peacock? I think they're just going to rebrand it. I think they're definitely going to rebrand that one. Let's see what else we've got here. I'll just check on the super chats and see how they are doing. Okay, yeah, we've done that again. So again, it's just been a bit of a tricky one today with these using this new software. It's a little bit different. So Steven said, what Disney going to do with Pixar? Keep the film straight to Disney? They definitely seem to be, but they're doing a massive number of views. They're getting a lot of eyeballs on Disney Plus with this stuff. It's been incredible for them. It's been absolutely incredible, really, on what they've been doing with the and that's ultimately it's a success. I think the trouble is, I think everyone's still looking at them kind of, don't put it on straight to Disney Plus. It's a lower tier. I think we're also looking straight to video, and I can understand that. But Luca and Soul have done incredible on Disney Plus. They have done incredible. Mick said I got rid of Netflix. It's the same shows are on Disney Plus and all 4 for free. Yeah, I to be honest, I probably wouldn't keep Netflix myself. I probably just jump in and out, but my wife watches a lot of stuff on it. Don't forget, Amazon will be getting the MGC. Yeah, they will be getting it soon, but they've got to get that merger through. Until they've done that, Now VVR needs bad update, and it could do a browser play. I used to use Now TV, but I found it really frustrating. And now we have Sky Q. So it's a soap opera show. Telenovelas are I didn't have a clue what telenovelas are. Soap operas. I haven't watched. We have soaps here in the UK like EastEnders and Emmerdale and stuff like that. I haven't watched them in a long. And then the one and only Tinkerbell said, "Tell it is a show. It's not a show. It's a genre." See, that's funny because I put in. It's a type of serial drama or soap opera produced primarily in Latin America. Yeah, so I think it's all going to depend on a show at a time. That's going to be the key thing with those ones there. Okay, I do feel Disney Plus is something. Oh, yeah, we've done that one. And let's see what we've got. Oh, we got lots of live. We've got loads of live ones. I just realized the time. We've gone way over the time. John said, do you think $19.99 is reasonable for Premier Access, or would it be better at $14.99? I think much more likely. I think if they get a $14.99, they'd have to do that after the 45-day, like Shang-Chi. If they did like Shang-Chi at maybe like $11.99 or something like that after the 45 days, they could get away with it. But they've got to make that money, and it's supposed to be premium. It's supposed to be an idea of it being you are paying more for it. So I do think that one there. Lady Jennifer says, what minor studio could be gobbled up next? I don't think they're going to go after. I don't think they're going to go after US ones. I think they're going to start going after international little studios to help towards their quotas. I think that's where they're going to go after little studios, things that aren't going to pick up on the radar, little things, and they can get staff. We go, we got a studio working in this country. We've got studios here. I think they're going to swallow up a lot of stuff like that. Josh said, as for the MGM, Amazon, I feel it's going to drag out as the US administration really doesn't like Amazon, and neither does the person overseeing it. The only thing is MGM just going to go down the pan if it doesn't actually do it. How come The Simpsons is on Disney Plus Venezuela even though it's banned there? I don't know. I didn't realize it was banned there, actually. Josh said, I think Sony and Marvel share productions. They can't do one without consulting the other. They definitely can't just drop it on there. They'd have to take their time going onwards. Wouldn't Netflix for a spanner, or does this not start till 2022? Yeah, it would actually. Yeah, it would throw a complete spanner in Netflix's plan, because then Netflix would get it on pay 1 and then Disney would get it on pay 2. So it would throw a little bit of a wrench in their plans. Let's see. Right, so I'm going to say we've got 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to have to cut it off regardless. We've had a load of questions. Just live, maybe, does this live stuff make it, with the names and stuff, it does feel like we're getting a lot more responses. Lego Ninjago Production says, being from Eastern Europe, I can't wait for Disney Plus. I'm excited to finally be able to watch stuff on here. And I think Hello Sunrise was recently brought out by Blackstone for $90 million. Hello Sun, yeah, probably, yeah. Did you hear the X Factor final got cancelled? I know X Factor in the UK got cancelled, but then that's not been around for a while. And John says, what VPN do you use? I use Surfshark. Nord. I use Nord. I just use it for main bits and pieces. If Premier Access here, it should do a season type. I think the trouble is, I think a season pass, I think they need to do the box office numbers. I think it's for the money, for the actors and stuff will want that kickback, and it will give a much better representation of how much they're worth. Right. Okay. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this week's show. That was a lot longer than I was expecting. Software kind of seemed to be working okay. We had a few little blips here and there with dropping out, but I will try and fix that for next time. Again, really just liking the idea of like bringing up your names and stuff. I think that's been great. Thank you very much to Lady Jennifer Snow, and also to trying to find this. They've hidden it where it is. We've also got Tor as well. Thank you very much for your support. It really means a lot. I mean, these super chats really do make a massive difference to everything that goes on. Oh, here we go. I can see it in the YouTube area. It's a lot easier to see. Oh yeah. So Jennifer said, "Hello Sunshine is the oh, that's the one that Kevin Mayer, the Disney Plus guy that likes spending other people's money. He he does seem to do it." Okay, so there we go. Thank you very much to everyone. Again, a few little technical bumps, but the software seems to have been a really good thing. But yeah, really enjoyed. So many of you in the live chat. So many people watching live. We had over about 120, 130 people watching live. Thank you so much for all of your support. And I shall see you guys next week for another live chat for the same time. Thank you very much. And I'm going to find a way to leave now. Cheers.